Welcome back to part 2 of the NEO training. This time we're going to focus on quality processes and procedures. Start out with food safety. Relatively recently, we updated food safety laws, the FDA authority to regulate how food is grown, harvested, processed, packaged, and stored, and can force recalls of products. FDA is also mandating comprehensive risk-based preventative controls, which require food manufacturers to assess risk and include steps that prevent or significantly minimize food safety risks. To drive the focus, not just responding if contaminations occur, to preventing contaminations in the first place. As we review some of our food safety programs and procedures in this presentation, remember that our food safety systems are important protections for our consumers who trust our products are safe, and preventing food safety risks is the law. SQF, or Safe Quality Foods, is an external organization that certifies our food safety programs and practices, and those of many other companies. They provide detailed requirements on how to protect food safety in ways that meet the legal requirements from the FDA. SQF auditors regularly visit our plant and audit the food safety practices. Our constant performance on these audits allow us to have the highest level of certification from SQF. SQF program is recognized by the Global Food Safety Initiative. It's basically the highest level of certification you can have, and that's what we have. It's a two-part certification. It's a HACCP program plus our local quality programs. SQF requires a management policy to be written which declares management commitment to supply safe food, meet customer and regulatory requirements, continually improve their management system, and set food safety and quality objectives. Senior site management must sign the food and safety quality policy and it must be displayed in a prominent position. Keurig has standardized this policy statement as a company. We at Keurig Dr. Pepper are committed to providing our customers with products that are safe and of the highest quality in the industry, earning their customers' loyalty by working to understand and exceed their expectations, fiercely protecting our Keurig-owned and partner brands by mitigating risk and operating in full compliance with consumer and applicable regulatory requirements. We deliver on this commitment by channeling our passion for perfection through a rigorous food safety and quality management system. Our culture of quality drives us to establish aggressive goals and continually improve our products and processes. Our enduring culture of food safety and quality excellence enables Keurig Dr. Pepper to create and deliver unparalleled value for our customers today and in the future. So there's two types of risks to food safety. There's accidental contamination, and that's where the food safety programs come involved. And then there's deliberate contamination or sabotage. That's where our food defense plan comes in. We're going to talk about both. So imagine you're eating at a restaurant with a poorly run kitchen. What kinds of things could you might find in your food that shouldn't be there? If it doesn't come up naturally, how about things that you can't see? A sneeze over the plate, or a chef who cuts a finger and continues to touch the food? Much like that restaurant, if we are not careful with how we produce, store, and transport our product, we could allow some of the same contaminations into our beverage products. Contamination can come from a number of sources. 1. Physical contaminants like hair, insects, or even metal shavings or a piece of plastic from equipment. 2. Chemical contaminants can also occur. Chemicals like cleaning solutions can find their way into our products if they're not used properly. Another chemical contaminant is allergens. When products that are not labeled as containing an allergen, like peanuts or milk, are altered with those ingredients. And lastly, we protect our products from biological contaminants. For example, a sick employee can spread bacteria or a virus. We have quality programs and procedures that protect from these contaminants, and we will review a few of the most critical ones today: HACCP and the allergen program. Earlier in the So here's a quick picture of what HACCP looks like. Stands for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Site HACCP teams will assess the process using the 7 principles of HACCP. Analyze the hazards, identify critical control points, establish critical limits, establish monitoring procedures, establish corrective actions, establish verification procedures, and establish record-keeping procedures. So this is just basically the HACCP plan. The following are the top U.S. food allergens, also known as the Big 8. You got milk, soybean, peanut, crustacean shellfish, like crab, lobster, fish, like bass, flounder, or cod, tree nuts, like almonds, pecans, or walnuts, eggs, and wheat. This means that these items are may be present, and could be a hazard if consumed or exposed to the customer. Canada also adds mollusks, sesame seeds, mustard, and mustard seed as a food additive called sulfites as common food allergens to the list of U.S. food allergens also listed, or previously listed. It's also important to consider how employees could potentially introduce uncontrolled allergens. Uncontrolled allergens are allergenic items that are not accounted for in the product specs or labeling. At this time, Keurig facility break areas allow allergenic items such as peanut butter and crackers, nuts, and other items to be sold and consumed. It is important to follow good manufacturing practices and wash your hands upon entrance into production areas to prevent any allergen cross-contact from occurring. It's also important to disregard any food waste into trash cans inside break areas. Never bring any food into the production or discard food waste in a production area. Additionally, Sumner is an allergy-free facility. We don't package products containing allergens. However, all employees are provided annual allergen training for the purpose of understanding allergen handling and allergen control. GMP and hand washing are some of our most powerful tools for minimizing the risk of contamination. A couple of other fundamental items include housekeeping. Keeping the work areas around our equipment clear of debris is an important responsibility, or manufacturing employees. There are cleaning standards for our equipment as well as our work areas in general. Messy, cluttered work areas increase the risk of our product contamination and also pose a safety risk to our employees. Temporary repairs. When repairs are needed on our equipment, we do not use items like duct tape or other material that may come loose due to temporary repairs. Duct tape could end up in the product stream. Illness. So employees and visitors exhibiting visible signs or symptoms of illness such as fever will be prohibited from entry into the food processing area and from otherwise engaging in product handling or operations. For employees, questionable cases will be referred to the site work compensation provider for determination of fitness for work in food production areas. Spitting is prohibited at all times. FDA requires people who are sick and could cause food or food contact surfaces to stay home and contact your employer. So, let's talk a little bit about food defense. So, we have different ways that we defend our buildings. There's 2 of them in Sumner. So, to get into the building, badge access is required. We have a visitor policy set up, so it's pretty strict. If you're just visiting, you're not out of the eyes of whoever you're with. All exterior doors are locked and are not allowed to be propped open or held open by anything. It's just badge access only. We have a full security staff at all the main entries, and we've trained all of our employees to be observant. If they see something, they're going to say something. We have restricted access to specific areas, so even if you have a badge to get into the door, a lot of areas have higher levels of access. So if you have minimal access, you can get into the door and get into the general areas, but you won't be able to get into, say, engineering or the quality lab. Oops. Computer access. All the computers have a login, and you have to use your own login to get into it. And again, it comes back to our observant employees that really protect our facility. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the other certifications that we have here. We are certified organic, and that just means that we can produce organic coffee, and that's we have multiple different companies that we work with on that. We have a fair trade, which is a nice thing to do. Fair Trade Alliance is a system that's set up so it protects the green bean growers in all the different countries around the world so that they get a fair price for their bean. Here's some of the other certifications that we have. Gluten-free, kosher, Rainforest Alliance. There's a ton of different certifications out there, and we have a lot of the big ones. So with different certifications come different requirements. Depending on what you'll be running at a certain line, it will require specific types of labeling, specific cleans, possibly segregation of materials. They each have their own special handling on what the requirements are and different types of documentation. But you'll learn all about that as you get in here. All right, let's jump into quality processes. So our goal is to make basically the best K-Cup we can, and we want 0 issues with these as they go out to the customer. So we have critical control points that are set up all over the place that kind of come from HACCP, and these control points are monitored by the machines themselves. So some of the automated controls, they're like inline quality checks. In coffee processing, we have distoners and magnets that separate debris from green beans and roasted beans. And in packaging, we have checkwares and vision systems, tap tones, x-rays, all kinds of different sort of automated checks that will kick out or reject anything before it makes it to the actual packaging area. Quality policies and procedures like these are documented, and the documentation is controlled. This means we have processes to ensure that the documentation is accurate, has been approved by knowledgeable experts, and that the most current version of documents is available to employees. It will be easy to spot controlled documents because they will have a document number on the top and a record of the approval on the document itself. Part of your job training will be on how to access these documents online, and most of them are on a SharePoint system to where you just log in and you can look up pretty much any document you want. You should not make unauthorized copies of these documents because they do change from time to time. So some of the policies and procedures that we have for testing would be visual inspection of cups, cases, and cartons. Cups are visually inspected every hour. Cases and cartons are inspected every time a finished good pallet is produced. Oxygen present, weight checks, seal integrity, filter weld is all done every hour for every lane for each cup. Agtron test is a test that we do for ground coffee to make sure it's ground properly. And then we have other processes in place like line clearance. Whenever we're changing over, this makes sure that all the old materials are off the line before we start a new run. All production logs and records shall be recorded in blue or black ink. If an error is made, make a single line strike through, then initial, date, and apply military time to the error before recording the correct data. Whiteout products and correction tape are not allowed. So, quality is your job. As you can see from this picture, it's a little chaotic. There's a lot of different things going on all over the place, and this is, a little bit similar to the production floor. There's going to be machines running all around you, different things happening all over the place. So just kind of be aware of what you're doing and where you are, and if you have any questions, always ask. And that is the end of our quality presentation. So you can go ahead and start the third video now, and we'll be doing a virtual tour in that one. Thanks.